Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friar's Desk, where we talk about spiritual insights, inspirational stories, and innovative ideas. 2026 marks 40 years since the historic days of February that changed the course of nation's story. The EDSA People Power Revolution was not simply a political transition, it was a moral awakening, a collective act of courage and of faith. Ordinary Filipinos stood before tanks armed not with weapons but with rosaries, songs, and conviction. And 40 years later, we ask, what really happened in those days? What remains that spirit today? In this episode, we'll listen to the lived memories of Father Isidro Abano OP and Father Pablo Tiong OP, how their stories, their fears, their faith were shaped as Dominican religious and as Filipino citizens. So good day, fathers. Kumusta po? And Father Isidro Abano, can I call you Father Didoy?
Yeah,
Ayan.
of course.
Okay, and kindly introduce Father yourself. What are you doing right now?
Me, I'm the director of the UST Museum, and I also teach in the ecclesiastical faculty of theology,
Okay.
and as the regent of the faculty of civil law.
Okay, what keeps you busy right now, Father? Are you busy?
Uh, keep busy. We have so many activities in the museum.
Yes.
As of now, we have an exhibition about fashion because fashion design because we are celebrating within this month the month of art and culture.
Okay, thank you, Father Didoy. And Father Pablo?
I work at the Office of the Vice Rector for Religious Affairs, and I also teach, nagtuturo din ako sa ecclesiastical faculties.
All right. And what keeps you busy these days, Father?
These days, we are preparing for the university-wide retreat, which is conducted every other year. And because tomorrow is February 25 and Simbahayan, our advocacy department is under the cluster of the Religious Affairs Office. So we are also mobilizing for the celebrations tomorrow, or rather rally or
Yeah, of course.
protest for tomorrow.
Yes, so we are gearing up for this celebration of our 40th
40th anniversary
of
na ng
EDSA
EDSA.
Revolution. But shall we go back to the 70s?
Father Isidro can tell us more about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I agree with you because when we say EDSA, it's not just I think February 25. It's a long story, no, that can go back to 1972 when the martial law was declared. I remember I was still in my second year high school at that
Wow.
time. Um, when the martial law was declared, for us it was we did not have any idea why it was being declared, being a student of the second year high school. No, although for many of us, no, it was a kind of a welcome situation because I don't know, there was a created environment now. Ang gulo-gulo na ng Pilipinas. May mga nagrarally nun sa plaza, may mga pulang bandera, di ba? May mga sulo. And then we heard, that time wala pang cellphone. No? So we heard in the news, especially radio, we were relying on the radio na nagkakagulo na dito sa Manila, may bombing sa Quiapo. And then there was a kind of being parang pinapakita na meron na the Filipinos were already morally depraved. May mga palabas na mga bomba films noon sa mga movies. So parang sinasabi there was really a need to for a change. So kaya nung dineclare yung martial law, parang ang feeling namin, it was okay, no? Even the church people, they say, "Oy, okay na yan kasi marami nang malalaswang palabas, marami na." But uh, hindi namin nalaman noon that time na yung pala yun, sa tingin ko, they were created, no? To justify the
The
declaration of
declaration
martial
of the
law.
martial law.
And it was only later on na lumalabas na konti-konti yung mga katotohanan. No? May mga patago na mga publication, nakakakuha kami. And then we heard may mga pinapatay na those who were speaking against martial law. So unti-unti na siyang nalalaman, lumalabas. At yun nga, later on in the starting ng mga 1980s, nag-umpisa nang lumalabas na mga publication.
Yeah.
And so if you come to think of it, that time, I would say even the church people were misled. They were misled
Yeah.
because they created an environment to justify the declaration of martial law. And then it was in the 1980s, no? When things mas malinaw na sa amin kung ano ba talaga, ano ba ang nangyayari, because there were already abuses, and of course, economically, bagsak na tayo. No?
Economy natin, Father.
Economically.
But how about in the 70s? Have you felt that the freedom was really curtailed at that time?
On the way to EDSA, going back
In the
as early as
70s.
1972, the proclamation of martial law. Senior citizen na ako, but at that time I was 1972, I was 10 years old. Grade 3, grade 4. Ang maalala ko lang, because at home, we have access to the Free Press magazine because my uncle is a subscriber to the magazine. Pag binuksan mo yon every week, the weeks or months leading to martial law,
September 1972.
that year, even maybe
70.
months or weeks before the declaration itself, in the caricatures of Free Press, colored pa yon. Eh, syempre, elementary pa lang ako. Pero makikita mo, ang daming mga caricatures, pictures ng yung sa editorial cartoons, mga tuta, mga buhaya, you know what, no? Kung sino-sino mga pinoportray doon. So, well, being an elementary pupil, nakikita namin yon, parang hindi pa masyadong nagsisink in, no? And then came 1972, the proclamation of martial law. Yun lang naman ang epekto sa amin. The immediate effect was that, well, in school sa flag ceremony, may additional na bagong lipunan, yung mga kakantahin and all that. So, sa umpisa, parang okay. And then, later on, gradually, through the years, kasi matagal ang tagal ng martial law. Just imagine, I was in the elementary school. By the time EDSA came, I was already graduating in theology dito sa UST. So, elementary, high school, philosophy, tapos theology. It was a very long time. And when EDSA came, or rather a few months before EDSA, or the immediate years before EDSA, talagang very conscious na there was already a real clamor for change.
Yung Father Dexter, you were mentioning about control, no? Freedom that time. Talagang napakahigpit. kailangan ginugupit yung buhok namin. Ito lang natitira. And there was curfew. Pag may time talaga na, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
maalala ko yung curfew.
Alas
Maalala ko
7
yung
ata,
curfew.
we have to be inside the house, no? Di ka na
Hindi
pwede-
naman alas 7, later, pero
Tapos
kailangan may
mga
curfew
8 or
hanggang
noon.
mga
9
4 o'clock,
siguro.
no?
Mhm.
And then you cannot go out. Kaya sa bagay teenager na kami noon, pag mag-party, magpa-disco, hindi ka na uuwi. Doon ka na, doon ka na Siyempre, teenager na ako, may mga party na. So, nagdi-disco sa bahay. Pag disco sa bahay, doon ka na hanggang umaga na yun kasi hindi ka pwedeng lumabas. Pag lumabas ka, huhulihin ka. Tapos napakahigpit, may ROTC, merong I remember nung inabot ako ng college,
Yeah.
'di ba? Yung propaganda, yung mga nagpaparada sa luneta, yung may mga flag na tapos may kumakanta, may bagong kami yun
Bagong
eh.
lipunan.
Tapos binigyan kami ng tig 15 pesos. Malaki ng 15 pesos, no? So binigyan kaming tig 15 pesos. Kami yun, yung mga may dalang flag na malalaki sa mga ginagamit kami sa propaganda.
Mhm.
Sa dictatorship pala, pagka ganun, because everything is greatly controlled. Later on, after EDSA, the clear lesson to me was that while you are there in that period, you never know what you are missing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Looking back, some years after EDSA, because we have more information and we can already have because of the additional context, kasi you can already compare the Philippines to the other countries, then that's the time we or rather I became aware how much we have missed. Like, we have so many descriptions of how prosperous or how somehow advanced the Philippines was before compared to other Asian countries. And after that long period of dictatorship, naiwanan tayo. Naiwanan talaga tayo. And that is still, this observation, the facts are freely available. No?
Oh, yes.
In the internet, we have so many of these observations documented yan na hindi talaga tayo umasenso during those years.
But before we go to our reflection on EDSA, Father, before EDSA, because they were also saying that that period after martial law is a period of disciplined people are getting to their own jobs, na they felt peace, no, they felt that they are secured, at that time, na walang magnanakaw, konti magnanakaw, malinis ang ano. So in the guise of discipline, people were doing their chores, no? Pero as we know, kasi na-curtail yung freedom, we did not know at the back there are some abuses now, because media was curtailed, no? Media cannot be accessed by ordinary Filipinos. There are many things that, the abuse of freedom that's happening, no? Kaya po yung namulat yung mga tao na ano bang nangyayari dito, especially siguro during the after some time after the declaration of martial law, maybe 75 or 76, nakikita na yung bad face o hindi magandang mukha ng martial law. And I think that kind of abuse of freedom, freedom, no? Ano po yung nangyari noon?
At the start, there were really some good developments. Just come to think of it, a few days after the declaration of martial law, on the way to school, kasi ang bahay namin ay malapit sa Municipal Hall. On the way to school, one day, nakita namin sa harap ng munisipyo, gabundok na baril, na mga lumang baril na sinurrender ng mga tao bago matapos yung amnesty kaya nakasurrender. So, those were loose weapons, unregistered firearms. In a way, we can say probably it helped the country as far as peace is concerned, peace and order is concerned. Pero sa umpisa lang ang mga yon. And together with other things that are happening all throughout the country, na-impress ako kasi as a kid. Ang dami palang baril na ganyan-ganyan. But that's only the tip of the iceberg as far as what is happening in the country. Talagang it was martial law, it was an extraordinary thing, and democracy was being curtailed.
Yes,
But
Father Sid.
I realized later on, yung mga nangyayaring sinasabi nilang discipline was very superficial. Kasi behind behind what people call that time discipline, nandun talaga yung corruption, lalong-lalo na pagdating dun sa pera.
Yeah.
Yun yung pinaka-root ng corruption noon. So everything was controlled, especially yung sa pera talaga na nobody can speak, or nobody could say na ninanakaw na yung mga pera, di ba? Kaya yun talaga ang pinaka-root noong na tinabunan yung corruption, para sabi disiplinado lahat, pero actually yung nandoon sa
They can get away with corruption kasi hindi nila nakikita sa media yung
hindi
nangyayari.
not only that, syempre kung halimbawa may tinatago yung corruption, di ituro mo yung ibang bagay para hindi mapansin yung ganun talaga ang nangyayari.
Superficial nga. Parang may mask.
Ganun talaga ang nangyayari. Everything was I would say para manipulated. Para hindi makita yung kabulukan na
There's
ginagawa.
only one station, I think, no? Tama ba ako? PTV4 lang ang pwede mag-ere ng media, ng news.
Tapos I remember, maalala ko, dalawa lang ang newspaper noon, Manila Bulletin at saka yung government-controlled din na
There was only one
Daily Express.
television, RPN.
Daily Express.
RPN9.
Tapos ilan lang yung television channel, syempre, nung panahon na yan. Pero, sabi nga ni Father Didoy, it did not take long na talagang malalaman mo rin kahit sa probinsya na something really was many things were going on, not mga abuses and all that. Mga naririnig lang sa haka-haka, mga ganun kasi kontrolado nga information. But we knew then that we were suffering from corruption, we were suffering from abuses in the government.
Siguro one factor I can say kung bakit humaba yung time ng martial law. Kasi remember, wala pa mga cellphone noon. No? We were just relying on the radio. Even in my province, wala pang television noon sa bayan namin. So radyo pa lang. And then yung newspaper, no? Siguro kung mga ganitong panahon, mabilis yung communication, iba ang magiging senaryo. Kaya humaba siya because of that. Hindi pa ganong kabilis ng communication.
And you do not even know what's really happening in Manila. Ganun, ano?
Oo. And come to think of it, maski yung mga local leaders, diba? They made their own interpretation. Kaya hindi lamang sabihin natin yung nasa taas ang maging abusive, pati yung mga nasa baba, because they were making their own interpretation. And now, kasi na-experience pa natin yan. That's why meron tayong mga hanggang ngayon mga political families kasi kadugtong pa rin yan eh.
Yeah.
Mga abuses ng political families ngayon, kadugtong pa rin yan eh.
Oo.
Kadugtong
Magkakadikit
pa rin.
din kasi.
Oo,
Even
kasi
nepotism.
yung communication hindi pa masyadong hindi pa masyadong mabilis. Hindi
Yeah.
katulad ngayon, may cellphone, bilis-bilis may mga trolls.
Yes, Father Pablo.
From today's perspective, you might wonder how we survive kasi simple lang ang buhay noon. Simple lang. But then, as I was saying, we didn't know what we were missing. Like, for example, there were no telephone services in the countryside. Akala namin ganun lang talaga na
Nag-i-implement lang.
natatanggapin mo na lang na ang communication, telegrama, mayroon pa yung telegram singer, gano'n.
Yeah, may
Pala,
telegram.
yung mga backward na hindi namin alam na gano'n. Kaya nung nagkaroon ng People Power Revolution after 1986, nung nag-normalize ng konti yung bansa natin, sumunod na yung mga telepono, ganyan. Happy kami kasi sa Pangasinan, I'm from Pangasinan. Manawag specifically, nagkaroon na ng telepono, mga ganun. So sabi namin, hindi naman pala imposible 'yan. Kaso nga lang nung period na 'yon, makitid lang ang makitid lang ang mundo mo. So, well, as I would always like to say, you do not know what you are missing.
Kasi ito yung binibigay
Kasi
na sa'yo
yun
ng
lang yung
government.
presyo mo. Mahirap na siguro mangyari ngayon unless yung super repressive countries na pati internet talagang kontrolado and all that. Pero the situation has changed in the world and the Philippines iba na rin ngayon. Hindi natin alam kung paano naman ang ang dynamics ngayon kung if we are looking towards more change, if we are aspiring for transformation in our country, which is so badly needed now. Some parameters have changed, pero yun pa rin ang aspiration natin na sana buhay ang demokrasya, that there would be justice and peace sa bansa natin.
With all those abuses that happened before EDSA, abuses, curtailing of freedom, etc., curtailing of also the media, what sparked the initiative for change? We want really change. We grouped as a nation. Naging buo ang collective, collective ideas and collective imaginations of the Filipinos na, ay, tama na, sobra na. Ano po yung nag-spark ng change?
Well, for one, the change that happened at that time, February.
Even from the
to-
church or
yeah,
even
to-
politics, ano po ang nangyari?
Ang dami kasing nangyari in
Yeah.
that short period. Yung pagkatapos ng snap election, bigla na lamang na there are protest marches, so we would join. Kuminsan walang pasok. And I remember there was this lady, pag naglalakad papunta na ng Luneta, pumunta siya doon sa harap namin, mga seminarista, kasi in the habit kami. Sabi niya, ganito na lang ba tayo? Na wala naman nangyayari, puro lang tayo marcha ng marcha. But nobody knew that we were just a few days away from EDSA.
I think my personal experience, kung bakit naramdaman ko na it is really time to move on or to do something. Meron akong naging experience. You remember one time we went to Bacolod. Kinulong yung dalawang pare.
Pumunta kami
Sina Father,
binisita namin.
Father Gore.
Brian Gore, oo.
And the other,
At saka isa pa.
they were Irish priests,
Yes,
no?
we went to
And then they were already talking against the corruption of the
We went to
government.
the
And
to
binibintangan
the jail.
silang kwan sila, mga NPA sila, so kinulong sila.
Mm.
Maawa ka, may mga sugat na yung katawan, may mga
Tortured, Father.
oo. Not torture, pero nakakulong kasi, di
Okay.
mainit.
mahirap yung
Tapos,
conditions.
Okay.
Mahirap. So, doon ko na-realize na ah, pati mga taong simbahan, pinakikialaman na. I don't know, may mga, in fact, may kilala akong pare noon na he was sent by the bishop to the United States to stay there. Kasi nga, identify na siya na isa siya sa mga nagsasalita against the government about abuses. And ang pinaglalaban lang naman nila, they were on the side of the people who are being abused, especially in this case sa Bacolod, you remember. So na-realize ko, pati yung mga tao na sabihin natin na mga alagad ng Diyos, pati yun, hindi na ginagalang, no? Because they were already speaking about justice, about truth, equality. So, pati yun, sabi ko, talagang, maaari natin sabihin, masyadong ang
Yeah.
corruption.
Oh, parang it's not just localized, no, yung news regarding the Philippines, but it is also getting international. And I think the US is also being informed of what's really happening here in the Philippines. As most especially, there are many protests. No, marami ba kayong na-attenda ng mga protesta, Father?
Towards the culmination of the yung
we walk
protesting
from Santo Domingo to Luneta, I remember
Oo,
that.
yung mga meeting de avance bago
Yeah.
snap election, we were there hanggang gabi. Tapos
We joined I remember we joined yung malaking rally. We walked from Santo Domingo to Luneta.
baka yung meeting de avance yun siguro sinasabi
I don't
natin.
remember.
Oo. But there we na-build up na yung momentum
Yeah,
ng
yeah. Kasi
papatungong- patungong
nag-call yata
EDSA.
ng snap election, then we
Yes.
have
Although parang ang surprising doon, hindi naman namin alam na ganun kabilis. Na at that time we were looking forward to siguro months pa or wala pang malinaw na closure kung ano ba talagang mangyayari.
yeah.
Pero Father, I remember 1983. That was August nung binurol si
Ninoy Aquino,
Ninoy Aquino sa Santo Domingo. We were already students there, no?
Yes.
And we saw what was happening. Talagang hindi umalis yung mga tao. They were always there. Hindi na nga sinasara yung simbahan, di ba? Yung sa gabi, padami
May vigil,
yung
yes.
mga tao.
Yes.
And I remember, meron pa mga dumarating na mga tao noon na I don't know kung saan galing ang mga yun. Nakikitulog. So, syempre, nanaawa naman kami. Pati yung kumot namin, pinahihiram namin. Pati yung unan.
Yeah.
Pinatutulog namin doon sa, mayroon doon room na pinatutulog namin. And masarap din nangyayari because nakakapag-practice kami ng charity na pinabigyan namin ng pagkain.
And that I think that sparked also the ignition of the passion of the people to really to end
Kasama kami ni Father sa Santo Domingo when
Oo.
binurol
1983.
si Ninoy
1983.
doon. And we saw the
sea
great
of
number
people.
of people na bakit ba na yung para lang makita yung bangkay, bakit ang dami-dami?
Oh.
So they were already expressing their sentiments na kasi parang at that time Ninoy embodied the change that people are hoping for.
Yeah.
The crowd was overflowing up to the streets.
Sobra, oo,
So,
sobra.
kaya sa tingin ko parang yung prelude na yun for EDSA eh. Kasi sarado na yung harap ng simbahan. At hindi na talaga umuwi yung mga
Yes.
tao. I think that experience was already a kind of prelude to EDSA. Doon na yun na siguro naramdaman nila na pwede na. This is the time. Pwede na.
Then,
May mangyayari na kung magagawa ulit tayo ng ganito.
And that snowballed towards EDSA.
Yes.
No? Now we go to EDSA, Father. During those times na what started February 22 kasi even yung snap election happened February, no, in the first days sa February, no, meron tayong snap election, and after that umalis yung NAMFREL, etc., etc., and that started it all. Pero what started really how did you participate in your stories on EDSA now, Father?
We are a religious community, siyempre, kumbento. So,
sa Santo Domingo.
all eyes and ears na sa mga pangyayari. And then came the call of Cardinal Sin, yung kanyang panawagan. Kahit na wala pa mga cellphone, wala pa. Pero sa radio,
Yes.
and all that, malinaw yon. So yung community nag-decide na pupunta sa EDSA.
What's the message of Cardinal
My
Sin?
dear people, I wish you to pray because it's only through prayer that we may solve this problem. This is Cardinal Sin speaking to the people, especially in Metro Manila. I am indeed concerned about the situation of Minister Enrile and General Ramos. I am calling our people to support our two good friends at the camp. If any of you could be around at Camp Aguinaldo to show your solidarity and your support in this very crucial period when our two good friends have shown their idealism. I would be very happy if you could support them now. I would only wish that violence and bloodshed be avoided. Let us pray to our Blessed Lady to help us in order that we can solve this problem peacefully.
I remember that was February 22 in the afternoon. Sabi, nagtatawag na si Cardinal Sin, pumunta na daw sa EDSA. Of course, may kasama yung salitang nagkakagulo na. So, through Radio Veritas, naalala ko noon, nakita ko meron yung malaking 10-wheeler ba yun?
Truck, somebody
Sinasakay na yung Our Lady
volunteered,
of the Rosary.
somebody volunteered to lend a flatbed truck. Kaya ura-urada, sinakay yung
Our
bikarya,
Lady of the Rosary.
yung
The
lanabal.
the group was being
sinakay.
led by, remember that time,
And we went to
Father Sally
EDSA.
Ramirez was the one who was the
Father Sunny, Father Larry Paraon.
but in my case, I did not immediately join the group ng first batch na pupunta sa
Pumunta na,
EDSA.
kasama na ako doon.
Sa first batch sumama ka. So, nakita ko lang nagtatakbuhan na pababa doon sa hagdan yung mga kasama, mga brothers. So, hindi ako sumama sa first batch. So, second batch ako, sumunod na lang kami. I remember, ang kasama kong sumunod, si Father Enrico Gonzalez. So, yung grupo namin, kasi hindi kami sa first batch.
Go ahead.
Yan yung
Go ahead, Father.
Yung first batch, hindi kami sumama. So, napunta kami, yung mga iba, puno na halos yung EDSA, di ba? Doon kami pinapunta sa Libis kasi doon daw papasok yung other military group. So, doon kami napunta, kasama ko si Father Rico, kasama ko si Father Lusuegro, may mga madre, mga Dominican, some Dominican sisters, yung mga Molo sisters, at ang some, I think mga mga Assumption Sisters, yung mga nasa unahan namin noon. So it was already getting dark. And it was already dark, no? Nandun kami, naghihintay kami. Nakikita namin yung armor car paparating, kumikislap-kislap. yung,
What are
yung-
those armored car for, Father?
Kasi
What's
yung
the
mga
purpose?
tangke nasa EDSA,
Uh-huh.
yung armor car, the other batch, grupo ng mga militar, doon papasok sa likod.
Okay.
So, sabi, doon kayo magbantay sa likod kasi doon papasok sa... Wala pa kasi yung... Kung nasaan yung SM Mega Mall, no, doon kami sa
Ortigas.
may...
Wala pa.
Mga talahib yun. Doon kami pinadala yung kaming grupo. So, doon daw mag-abang yung another group kasi papasok yung mga militar doon, ihaharangin namin. So nakikita ko yung mga ano yan, yung
Mga blinking lights.
armor car na
Ah,
gumaganon-ganon. And then nung papalapit na sa amin, nagtaasan na ng kamay yung mga sisters, yung mga sa unahan. Nagkantahan na ng ama namin.
And
They were crying. I was also
That's-
crying. I was also crying that time because there were many things that were running in my mind.
Yeah.
Unang-una, I was ordained 1985, August 1985. So I was only 6 months ordained
6 months
priest.
ordained.
No?
Very-
So this picture, this is already February 25. This is not February 22. This
But
is
25 na yan.
this
That's
is
the
already
third.
25. That is another story, no? Yung nag-iiyakan na kami kasi yung there were things that were running in my mind. Una-una sabi ko, Lord, 6 months pa lang akong pare. Another thing, so kung anong mangyayari dito sa akin, hindi alam ng parents ko. Tapos yung isa pang question in my mind that time, ano kayang pakiramdam ng tinatamaan ng bala? And I was praying, Lord, sana pag tinamaan ako ng bala, mabilisan lang. Ayaw kong may mararamdaman pa akong masakit. And then, buti na lang, kasama ko si Father Rico Gonzales. Sabi niya, ba't ka ba natatakot? Lahat naman tayo mawawala dito sa mundo. And another priest, si Father Pop Loswego, was complaining, ang mga lamok naman dito, ang sakit-sakit makakagat kasi malamok madilim. Doon sa may mga talahib kami. Sabi ni Father Rico, kasi malapit tayo doon sa bahay na mayayaman, mga naka-high heels, yung mga lamok.
But-
So yung gano'n, may mga konting napapatawa kami or whatever. Tapos yung but we were crying, no? Tapos yung tumaas na ng kamay, sabi nung sisigawan na, kapit bisig. Pag kapit bisig, ganun talagang maiiyak ka kasi di mo alam, ang inisip ko, was it already my time to go? Talagang maiiyak ka kasi nakakapit bisig, gano'n. At hindi mo makokontrol yung tuhod mo na nanginginig. So sabi ko, Father, naiiyak ako.
yung picture, Father, yung picture kanina, that was already the third
Last
day.
day na yan.
Third day of the protest as far as we seminarians were concerned. Third day na yun. Sa araw kasi, pinapauwi kami para magpahinga. Tapos bandang 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, aalis na kami uli. That was the third night. Around that time, paalis na o wala na si Marcos. That picture was taken in JP Rizal. Supposedly, on the way na kami sa Malacanang. Binabato kami dyan eh. May nambabato kaya parang takot na takot yung mga mukha namin kasi may nambabato.
Yeah. But remember, Father, kayo mga seminarista pinapauwi. Pero kami mga pari na, we stayed. Kaya I remember sa kalsada ng EDSA, natutulog kami doon. May baon lang kaming kumot, nilalatag namin yung kumot.
Pare na kasi si Father
sa
noon,
mga-
seminarista pa lang
sa mga
ako.
bangketa na natutulog kami.
Mhm.
And maraming mga tao natutulog, nakikipagkwentuhan, ganun. I don't know if was it a miracle or not. Wala naman kaming baong pagkain. Parang, kung isa naaabutan ka lang.
At that time,
may-
maraming nagpapakain.
Maraya.
Yeah.
Kung yung parang bandang gugutumin ka na, may mga nagdadala ng tubig, nagdadala ng
That
ng
could be a
pagkain.
miracle
Pero,
also.
pero
no?
Father, this is one thing. Iniisip ko ngayon. Yung mga, kung ang isa para sa akin, ang isa sa nag-contribute sa success ng EDSA, that time, buhay na buhay, very active yung Life in the Spirit Seminar community, saka yung Couples for Christ. Sila yung mga nagdadala ng mga pagkain, lalo na yung mga Couples for Christ. Saka yung mga
Yeah.
So I think, sa isip ko ngayon, God prepared the EDSA na mangyayari yon. So, itong mga Couples for Christ, itong mga Life in the Spirit Seminar, sila yung mga naging
Nag-ignite
provider
din,
ng mga
oo,
pangangailangan.
di-
Wala kaming baong pagkain. Baon lang namin kumot. Nilalatag lang namin. Doon natutulog kami doon sa... At may nag-aabot ng mga pagkain. And these were people from the
From
community.
all, maybe all walks of life, Father.
Oo,
Maybe
lalo na
they
yung mga, lalo na yung,
sharing of what you have.
lalo na yung mga itong mga involved sa community, yung Life in the Spirit community, saka itong mga Couples for Christ. So, I would say really God was
Really
there. He
working.
was really
Father,
moving these people.
On the spiritual side, siyempre may unang-una si Cardinal yung tumawag, and then as we were progressing with the People Power Days, siyempre kagaya niyan, dala-dala namin yung Lanaval. On the religious side, parang ang feeling, halos lahat ng mga tao parang na-overcome yung takot kasi ang balita, ang umiikot, yung military, they don't fire on civilians. Wala namang nangyaring mga binaril na mga tao. So, parang buhay na buhay yung paniniwala na sa awa ng Diyos, hindi naman magiging violente.
But that was
Although
not,
there were
that
casualties
was not
also.
the feeling during the first day, Father.
Sa first day pa lang, talagang
nakakatakot
nakakatakot.
yung
Kasi may
first
mga
day.
Even at
eh.
that picture, kasi hindi pa namin
And
alam
they
na
are-
nakaalis na
and
pala
they
si
are really
Marcos.
praying, no? And crying, no? Kasi hindi na nila alam kung... Kasi with all the bombings, etc., no? May mga protests, etc. Father, may question lang ako. Bakit nandun ang Lanaval? What's so significant about Lanaval that you need to bring that from Santo Domingo to the EDSA? Kasi ngayon, pag may mga protest, andyan si Lanaval. So,
Oo nga, yung sa first day pa lang kasi, that was when Cardinal Sin called for the faithful to go to EDSA. I don't know what
The Nabal was brought, Father, because
may nag-volunteer ng truck.
no, yes, and it was the suggestion of Father Sunny Ramirez. Si Father Ramirez yung naghikayat na dalahin yung Lanabal.
Yeah.
At saka yung si Mr. I forgot his name already, the one who was in charge also of the one. So so that people will pray the rosary.
rosary.
So ang talagang nagsuggest na dalahin was Father, I remember was Father Sunny. And in fact, when it was being put on top of the whatever, no, so he was the one directing where to place it.
Yeah.
And also Father Larry Parra.
Third evening na yan yung picture third evening na nilabas yung
Our Lady of
Lanabal replica.
Mhm.
Kasama pa rin yung at that time yung truck kasama pa rin kasi that's the only vehicle big enough para mailagay yung imahin. And then binababa binaba dyan sa bandang JP Rizal, and then we were carrying it on the way to Malacanang. Although hindi na kami nakarating.
But that it's also a symbol that the revolt was really winning at that time kasi third day na siya.
In a way, and at the same time, it's the symbolism is we are doing it with faith in our in the help of God, no, through
Kasi
the
we
intercession
see-
of the Blessed
yeah, we
Mother.
see-
Dala-dala na yung
we see
lalaban.
Pero
people pray.
nandun din ako, kaya nasa likod kami.
Pero at that time, di pa natin alam na nakaalis na, may mga rumor pa lang. And then,
Nakakatakot din yung
oo,
time na yon.
nung palapit na,
Going-
parang naging definite na yung balita na nakaalis na raw.
Uh-huh.
So hindi na kami tumuloy.
Pero yung kaya nakakatakot yung lugar na
Sa
yun.
JP Rizal yan.
One
Kasi-
of the images also is the
nag-brown out, di ba?
Yes. And-
Tapos may nagbabato.
yes. And one of the images also of is the Our Lady of Fatima, that kaya naging popular this Our Lady of Fatima, and Our Lady of Peace at that time, no, yung devotion to the lady, not only Lanaval but other titles of Mary, no, they are being propagated all over, that they saw, even yung mga tao sinasabi may miracle sila nakikita, nararamdaman, etc. But I think yung environment at that time, that sabi niyo, Father, no, parang wala na, hindi na yung takot, pero I think there is also a peace that's happening around on February 25. What do you say?
I just would like to go back to the picture. Yun yung one of the last fearful moments kasi hindi nagtagal noon yung sa picture na yan, celebration na eh.
Yeah.
Pero at that moment na yung na-capture ng we were still full of apprehensions, natatakot pa kami doon. Unang-una kasi hindi pa malinaw kung anong nangyari. Saka may nambabato, may mga tinatamaan.
Brown out. Madilim yun.
But at that time, no, when we heard of the when we heard that he flew already, what was the feeling then? Ano yung nakita na natin, na narinig natin sa radyo, etc. Those that he already flew. What was the environment at that time?
The next day, yung gabing yon nung people were celebrating.
I mean, we already more or less felt very much relaxed, and then it was time to go home. They say, okay, let's go home na. Okay na.
So parang natupad yung although
And-
it's just the beginning again
Yes.
of
Uh-huh.
rebuilding, renewal.
What was the feeling then of people around the church? Were they celebrating, etc., the democracy is being restored?
Well,
What
the
was feeling then?
the relief was there na parang finally we have a chance. Finally nakabangon tayo. Although siyempre hindi pa malinaw kung ano yung mga mangyayari. Pero it was really as an event of celebration and pasasalamat sa Diyos. And definitely kasi sabi nila in some ways miracle, but siyempre in quotation marks, but ang pinaka-importante doon ay mahalaga yung role ng pananampalataya ng mga tao.
Father.
That time, I think it was, yun yung pinakamasarap maging Pilipino. To be very, very proud to be a Filipino. Kasi nasa sentro ka ng world. Eh. The entire world was
Watching us.
was looking at us. And I think they were also rejoicing with us.
And they
Kaya ang sarap-sarap maging Pilipino noon eh.
and they said it
Oo.
started
We were very much respected. In fact, the following year, 1987, I traveled. Pag nalaman nilang Pilipino, parang nagbaw sila.
and they started
Very much respected ang sarap maging Pilipino noon after that.
And-
Napakasarap.
Yeah, nag-start din ang mga revolutions toward sa Europe na even
Yung
Poland.
sa Germany,
sa-
noong
sa-
1987
yeah,
na, di ba?
even
Yung,
89 that
yung
started,
kana-
no? Yung mga revolutions at that time. No, we are in the last part of our program, no? But do you think the spirit of EDSA still being lived now? Kasi yung spirit dati of solidarity, of faith, is it still being lived now? Father, or or
In the
mixed,
sense,
in a mixed
in
in a
the
mixed
sense
way.
that in order to have real change, kailangan ng matinding pananampalataya. It's the same spirit. Many things have changed. Iba na to think that it's been 40 years, no?
Yes.
But pero yung constant diyan, yung hindi tayo nawawalan ng pag-asa ba
Mhm.
na sana yung pananampalataya natin ay nandun pa rin sa gitna ng ating pagnanais na magbago yung ating bansa. It takes time kasi kung tutusin, pag binabanggit mo yung pananampalataya, mukhang talagang kailangan dahil ang tagal na eh. Ang tagal na. But you see, evil can be generational. So, doing good, the effort to really overcome, kailangan sustain din.
Yeah.
Otherwise, talagang hindi natin makikita yung pagbabago. Kaya hope, pag-asa at saka pananampalataya.
Okay, Father, is it still alive? The spirit of EDSA.
I think the spirit of EDSA, this time is, it's difficult to say. We need to revive it. We have to tell the story and to educate the people, know what really happened. Kasi sometimes it's just covered by celebration and
Yeah.
without really knowing kung ano talaga ang nangyari. And in fact, when we are speaking about our faith, it's not only dapat ang mabago dapat sa Pilipino yung pag sinabi nating faith, parang tama na yung nagdadasal, naniniwala, but it must penetrate the entire life that we have, and including our political system, our society. It must be able to penetrate our faith and to live that faith in our society. Sa tingin ko, EDSA is just the seed. It was just the beginning. No? And until now, it's still a very tender plant. And it has to be nurtured.
Nourished.
No?
Yeah.
Umpisa pa lang yun eh. Hindi pa pumasok sa ating sistema. Nandiyan pa rin yung mga corruption, nandiyan pa rin yung mga nangyayari sa ating nandiyan pa rin yung mga kasi hindi pa parang may mga naiwan pang ugat, no? Na kailangan pa rin
Yeah.
mawala ito mga ito. Kailangan yung faith natin hindi lang maging devotional practices or whatever, no? Kailangan talaga mabuhay siya sa ating pagiging, sabihin natin, pagiging Pilipino, pagiging makabayan na naniniwala sa Diyos.
All right. And your final message towards our Gen Z and Millennial Thomasian students and stakeholders, Father. Maybe you could address our students and everyone else. The spirit of EDSA 40 years after.
Especially to our young Thomasians. It's a very long story, but it does not end. It must continue. Kikilos tayo sabay ng panalangin. Huwag tayong mawalan ng pag-asa. And we have to open our eyes. Kasi ang daming nangyayari, and then we can be misguided superficially. Pero we have to go deeper. when we look at our society, when we look at our country, sikapin natin na makikita natin yung katotohanan at the level of the grassroots, ano ba talagang nangyayari. You are the generation, sabi, we always say the young people are the future of the country, but our country will only have a future kung palalim ang ating pananampalataya at sasabayan ng pagkilos. Kung ganon, di tayo pababayaan ng Diyos.
Okay, Father Didoy.
Sa akin, napakaikli lang sasabihin ko sa inyo, mga young Thomasians, ginawa na namin yung aming papel. Kayo naman ang kumilos.
All right. The tanks have long left EDSA and the crowds have dispersed. The yellow ribbons have faded. But the deeper question remains, has the courage endured? EDSA was never meant to be a monument. It was never meant to be a moral compass. The late Benigno Aquino Jr., whose assassination ignited the movement, reminded us the Filipino is worth dying for. Freedom is fragile. Democracy requires faith and courage, and maybe the true miracle of EDSA lies not on a bloodless revolt, but that the people chose the power of prayer and solidarity as a nation. Thank you, Father Didoy and Father Pablo, for your time and presence. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, Laudare Benedicere Predicare. Let us all praise, bless, and preach the Word of God. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless us all. And this is Friar's Desk.